Good afternoon, my friends. This is the Grimflayer, and I hope you're all doing very well today. Well, we are doing it. We're 3-0 in our first ever live recorded competitive league on this channel. 3-0 and counting. Looking for the 4-0 right now. We have had 3 well-fought, difficult, and skill-testing matches thus far, but we've come out on the right side of all of them, most recently taking down Grixis Shadow. You can see that on my here on my channel. It's the previous video, and we are looking for the 4-0 right now, looking for a 4th opponent. We're on a Dark Confidant build. It's the one in my most recent deck tech. You can find that in the description below as always, and yeah. It's all been serving us pretty well. Our nice, middle-of-the-road, well-rounded list has been serving us very, very well. Everybody says you have to do something completely broken in Modern. People say you have to, you know, interacting is a fool's game. You've got to just execute your own linear strategy. No. False. Lies. Wrong. We're proving them wrong. We can play a heavily interactive game, we can play quote-unquote fair Magic, and we can still get spectacular results. And it's not just like we're handicapping ourselves, but we can still win. No, this is a really, really top strategy in Modern, in my opinion. And our results have correlated with that opinion so far. Let's see if we can keep racking up wins today. So we're going to be on the draw, and our hand is, it's okay. It's good enough for a keep in a blind game 1. A lot of discard action here, which is what we want to see in a game 1. We don't really know what else we want. So, you know, sometimes removal spells don't line up the best. Sometimes they do. This looks like burn to me. So Inquisition's going to be good. Well, there's another Inquisition. Alright. I don't know how good this Thoughtseize will be, but we've got a lot of stuff to do. Okay, this looks like a mono red Phoenix deck. So we've got Light Up the Stage. So obviously Lava Spike, we all know what this does. Light Up the Stage. This is a spectacle. And then we have looting as well. So next turn, the spectacle's not all that exciting for them, because they'll only have 1 mana to do anything with, and then there's looting as well. I'm actually just going to take the Lava Spike here, preserve my life total. Next turn, plan to have a double discard spell turn if I need to. Or, alternatively, I can play Inquisition into Hissing Quagmire. Giving them the looting is not great, but I'm kind of banking on being able to take care of the graveyard to some degree with Ooze. Alright, they've got mismatched mountains, so let's make sure we've got the right mountain in the yard. They are going to light up the stage? Okay. So those are exiled. Yeah, I'm not sure what purpose that served, to be honest. Maybe I missed something, but yeah. Okay, so as far as I know, they have a mountain and an unknown in hand. I guess we Inquisition now or never, right? Ooh, yikes, the Bedlam Reveler. That's very bad. So we whiff there, but I suppose we have to Thoughtseize that. This is very painful. We have to fetch and we have to Thoughtseize, but it's going to be worth doing. Alright, well, we kind of wasted some resources, but I don't think there was any real getting around that, and they are totally at the mercy of their top deck. We've got a Scooz to come down and hopefully do some work on their graveyard, shore up our life total, all this good stuff, but it must be said we've been drawing nothing good. We've been drawing all the lands. So that's pretty unlucky, but hopefully we can get there. And they found a... Wow, okay, what just happened? I'm really not sure where that second lightning bolt came from. Does light up the stage not do what I think it does? Until the end of your next turn. Okay. Okay. Yep, I definitely missed that part. My bad, guys. That was not great of me. That was not great gameplay, but that's okay. We are a bit punished for that, but again, there was not too much we could do about that, except maybe take away something besides the Lava Spike turn 1, I guess, in retrospect. But, you know, we're at the risk of getting burned out, so I guess the Lava Spike was still a totally fine take, but yeah, I did misinterpret light up the stage, that is for sure. So we're obviously looking to trophy away the Swifty here. I think that's better than playing the Ooze. I get to flashback eluding. Let's let them move to the beginning of combat before we trophy. Just in case they have another haste threat, basically. 1 mana haste threat here. Alright, Dark Confidant not very good. The top of our deck has been very unkind to us, my friends, but maybe the Scavenging Ooze will just get it done. And I think before we give them another draw step, we have to start eating things now. And we have to leave the looting for now. We gotta get up out of bolt range. All that good stuff. They're on the dig with Monomorphos. And they're on the dig with a flashback looting. Okay, we get to untap, we get a Liliana of the Veil. Yeah, that's fine. I think... I think we just play the Lily, pitch the Bob, rather than play the Lily, play the Bob. I think I'd rather have my Ooze activate a couple times than cast a Dark Confidant at this stage of the game. So, sure, I can buy that. Runaway Steamkin. Time to put the clock on. I think I'm going to eat one thing here and leave up one activation in case they get a Phoenix into the yard or anything else that we care immensely about. Looting. Gut Shot and Ruins hits the bin. Okay. Is this a... Okay, it's another looting. Sure. Another couple Steamkin. Alright, ton of fuel for the Ooze. Looking good. Alright, at this point I do want to play the Confidant. We've got enough of a buffer that just getting another body down is fine. Let's each discard. Sure. Alright, I guess we just gobble up a couple Steamkin here. Alright. I guess Bedlam Reveler is the scariest draw, but they didn't get it, so... Ooh, backs against the wall and we stabilized. Alright, guys, I like it. I like it a lot. So, we are against mono red, I assume Phoenix, but we did not actually see a Phoenix, but you have to assume Phoenix with Faithless Looting involved. Anything else? I mean, Runaway Steamkin is not always in these decks, but it's certainly here in heavy numbers. Otherwise, it's most of the stuff that we expect out of a deck like this, right? So how do we want to side? Well, we're kind of siding like it's against burn, but we need to be able to handle the top end a little bit more and also the graveyard. So everything over here is going to be worth considering. I don't think we want Nissa. None of this other stuff there for sure. Yeah, Surgical, I mean, yeah, probably. Again, even though we haven't seen the Phenai. Okay, so I think the first things we're going to do that are for sure are the stuff that gains us life. And maybe like a couple of the better pieces of Grave Hate. And then we can consider this stuff kind of the second tier of action. Yeah, maybe Maelstrom Pulse is just in too, right? Like, they just play a good amount of threats. So, let's start out with these 5. We're going to take away our Thought Seizes, even though that makes us very sad when we Inquisition and see a Bedlam Reveler. Liliana the Last Hope is probably not great either. Otherwise, just about everything here looks fine. Maybe a Tracker is a tad slow. The other Last Hope is a consideration to come out. So we're at 58. If we made these 2 cuts, we could bring in all 4 of those cards. So what do we think about that? How good is Lily the Last Hope, really? Honestly, not very. Not very good. Like, we could leverage 1, and it would be fine. But I don't think we need her. So Languish, Extraction. I'm actually going to be a little bit conservative and leave it there. We have enough outs to the things that Explosive hits. 3 Spellbomb is obviously doable, but you know, I don't want to be too threat light, so I think leaving in that Tracker, leaving in the 1 Lily is fine. If I had a little bit more time, maybe I would revise my opinion. I think we have to mull here. Too much is riding on us finding a couple lands. I think it's reasonable to mulligan against this deck if you've got a borderline hand, and I'll keep this one. Tarmogoyf is good, and yeah, I mean, we don't need any other lands at this exact moment, so sure. There's the Swifty. And we'll get hit for 1. And it is time for the Inquisition. Alright, so they do have Arclight Phoenix, they have a second land. They don't really have anything else going on, so I think I'm going to take away the Runaway Steamkin, because that's going to kind of gate them on mana. It's also going to make them play the Young Pyromancer next turn almost certainly, and then we get to Brutality that away. So that's my take. I think there's an argument for taking any of the cards in that hand, honestly, but I don't think they have any real choice but to play the Pyromancer here. Unless they draw something else, of course. Alright, they're gonna Monomorpho. So here's the other thing, is like we get to just, like, if they did something else here, we do get to cleanly Brutality the Swift Spear next turn, which might be just as good. They get a heck of a payoff. Wow. They get a heck of a payoff for that decision, though, to Monomorpho. So, hey, fair enough. They definitely got me with that one. Now this is a bit of a tough spot. How do we like playing the Tarmogoyf here instead of the Collective Brutality? That way we just kind of invalidate the Pyromancer. Or, excuse me, we invalidate the Swift Spear for the most part. We can kill the Pyromancer next turn with Brutality, maybe have something more desirable to pitch next turn as well. So, I could buy that. That was a really good turn that they had, though. So maybe I was supposed to take Monomorphos, I don't know. They certainly needed a couple really good things. It's not like they had that anywhere near set up in hand, right? But maybe we do just have to kill this Phoenix with Brutality. Kill it, then eat it with the use. Try to grind through the Pyromancer tokens. Yep, I think that's the plan. So what if we kill the Phoenix, drain them for 2? Hope they don't get it back before we can play our Ooze. Alright, let's see how far this gets us. We are on the ropes a bit, but they might be just about out of gas. Of course, any spell they find is going to do a lot of work, but we're super punished if they get the Phoenix back, obviously, but I don't think we can keep getting chunked for 3 in the air. Man, Monomorphos. Monomorphos, what a card. Alright, but they didn't quite do it. They did not quite manage to do it. So, I think we have to hold off on the Goyf for now and play our good friend the Scavenging Ooze. Get that Phoenix out of there. And just eat the Steamkin as well. Get ourselves up out of bolt range with both of our creatures. And we're playing some defense. Really need another kill spell for this Pyro, that's for sure. Oh, they're going wide, but not stuff we care that much about right now. Ooh, Swamp is bad. Swamp is bad. So they have just instants over there. So if we do not sandbag this land, we can just clear out their entire graveyard of everything but mountains. And I guess that's what we're supposed to do. Oh no, we can't. We have to leave one in there no matter what we do. Sorry, I'm wrong. I'll correct myself a third time. Twilight Mire OP, right? So we make double green. Play this guy. Eat everything. This is definitely worse if we top deck Tracker, or I guess if we top deck another Collective Brutality, but I think this is the type of game where we're behind enough on the board. Oh shoot. That was an error. I don't have instant in my yard, so I shrunk my Goyfs. That was a punt. My bad, guys. It's alright, they can't really... That shouldn't really change the math. Because they... Like, if they get something that makes them want to attack into my board in general, I don't think it matters if my Goyfs are 2/3s or 3/4s. Also, they're still insulated from Lightning Bolt. So, not the worst punt in the world, but if I had been paying more attention, Oh no. Oh no, the Tracker. Punished as hard as possible. Well, well, well. We still just pass here, in my opinion. Especially with a card in hand, we don't want to run an Ooze out into some very unprofitable double blocks. Unprofitable for us, that is. With prowess triggers potentially waiting in the wings, but yeah, man, how punished are we for that decision to play out of land? Yep, so like I was saying, I don't think shrinking our Goyfs changes much here, but I probably would have left a Lightning Bolt over there anyway, had I been paying closer attention to the types. These Ramanop Ruins are a really nice little piece of reach for them. I'm unhappy to see those. Alright, well. I would love a kill spell here, and we've got one. They're going to bolt face. Yep. Alright, so they still don't have any profitable attacks. But we have to hold back here. For one more turn, I think. It's tough, though, because, like, the longer the game goes on, the more likely we just die to a top-decked bolt. But because they have prowess right now, I think we hold back. And maybe start turning, like, one Tarmogoyf sideways a turn from here on out. Obviously depends on a lot of other things, but end step here we can make double green and eat the Pyromancer and the bolt. And this time I have an instant of my own in the yard, so it won't be bad. All right. I guess before we fetch, we'll see what we draw here. See if we need to fetch again. Fatal Push. Yeah, it's pretty good. Let's fetch again. Tarmogoyf. I like it. I do like it a lot. So, the big question here... So I think what we want to do is push... Let's use push as a combat trick, right? So let's send in our tireless tracker here. Start turning her sideways. We can push if they go for a, like a prowess-fueled multi-block. No block at all. Alright. So that makes me want to play out my other Tarmogoyf because they still have a wide board. We didn't take a token off the field. And now we get to hold up push or an ooze activation. I would be a lot safer with both, but... Yep. So obviously we're dead to some certain things here, but... Alright. Mana efficiency, I think, makes us want to push here. Collective brutality. Okay. So I think it's a lot safer to just use this to drain them for 2 than anything else. But if we kill a token... If we kill a token, then they basically have to block with everything to stay alive, because any 3 creatures getting through is lethal. So if we kill an elemental with this, then we turn everything sideways, they block the ooze, they block the tracker, they block a goyf, they go to 8. If they do anything else, they die. That is, as long as... as long as we still have a creature in the yard. It would be so nice to get another creature in the yard by killing it with the brutality here, but with prowess, I just don't think we can realistically make that happen. Now, what happens if we just use this to drain them for 2 instead, and play a little bit more conservatively? I don't know if I like that, because we're just putting ourselves at risk of dying to top decks, I guess, but... so, we kill an elemental with this. So what could we lose to here? Yeah, like if any 3 things get through, they just die. I just don't know what they could have. But it feels wrong to turn them all sideways. Feels wrong to turn them all sideways because we're in such a commanding position. But we could die to a top-decked bolt, so... They have to block with all 3, as far as I can tell. Yeah, so they block the tracker, they block the ooze, they block nothing else. 3 Tarmogoyfs, 12 damage. So they have to block all 3 to stay alive. Going for it. Let's hope I didn't miscount. Yep, looks like they're throwing them all away. Okay. This is good for us, and I'm just going to main phase some ooze activations. Get up out of bolt range, and do we have him? The tension is real. We have them. Oh, man. Backs against the wall, making the stand with all of our big, fat, green creatures and turning them sideways, turning the corner out of just about nowhere. We're just doing nothing and doing nothing and doing nothing, just barely staying alive, playing really conservatively. And then we hit them for 6 with a gigantic tracker, and then we turned them all sideways at once, and it represented exactly lethal, unless they threw away their entire board to block, which they did. And then that was that. MVP, Scavenging Ooze, both games Scavenging Ooze coming down after we took a thorough beating, stabilizing the board, too big for a mono red deck to cleanly handle, stabilizing our life total, and eventually being a big part of closing out the game. So, all praise to Scavenging Ooze there, but we had a lot of really good stuff to come together. Like, look at our graveyard, Inquisition of Kozilek, Collective Brutalities, Fatal Pushes. These are the types of cards we want to see in this matchup, and of course, Tireless Tracker was very good, despite the fact that we played out a semi-extraneous land right before we saw her. Tarmogoyfs were, of course, amazing. Triple Tarmogoyf in a matchup like this. Definitely a big part of how we got there. Just the efficiency of the body relative to the cost, as always, is welcome in a matchup like this. But we did it. We got a nice, clean 2-0, our first 2-0 of the league, and we advance, my friends. We advance to 4-0 in the first ever live recorded competitive league on this channel. Not a bad debut if I do say so myself, but there's still one game to go. Still one game coming down the pipeline. I'm so hyped I might just do it tonight. I was planning to kind of have to spread these out over the weekend, but I might have to make room for this one tonight. What do you say? Well, we'll find out. We'll find out. Stay tuned to the channel to see the 5th and final game of this league. And yeah, as always, let me know what you thought about my decisions here. I guess the possibly most controversial decision I made would have been taking away the Runaway Steamkin from their hand on turn 1 of this game. Young Pyromancer was a card I thought I could handle, and they slow rolled him a little bit, and then he ended up being, you know, a reasonable thorn in my side. And then, of course, Monomorphos was a card that I left in hand that ended up being very much a problem for me when they just went off out of nowhere on that turn, Monomorphos into Faithless Looting into Lightning Bolt, bringing back a Phoenix. Now, granted, that was the only non-creature spell in their hand, so it's not like we saw them with the little mini combo in hand and we're just like, well, you can have that. Like, you know, they definitely needed the right stuff off the top of their deck, but maybe I should have respected that more anyway. So let me know if you think I should have taken away something different with that Inquisition. In retrospect, I could see that, but either way, it worked out pretty well. I think we sequenced pretty well overall. You know, it's really important to strike a balance between keeping the board clear and curving out optimally and respecting your own life total, all this stuff. It's a balancing act. It's a lot to juggle, and you've got to keep all of those things in the right proportions to come away with a win against a deck like this, and we did. And once again, that was largely on the back of Scavenging Ooze. So, well done, Scoozer. And yeah, as always, let me know what you guys think. Let's go ahead and leave it there. Thank you as always for tuning in. Thank you as always for supporting the channel. If you would like to support this content financially, and if you're not already a patron, go visit my page on Patreon, Grimflayer MTG. Link is in the description below. You can find out about my reward tiers, and you can support content that you enjoy. You can exchange value for value. It feels good to do so. It's a good time, and I hope you'll consider that. Otherwise, thanks for liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, all that good stuff. And yeah, woohoo, 4-0. So far, so good. I will see you for round 5 coming up sometime soon. Until then, take it easy.